going to be talking about your imports. That's right, we have the imports for Legacy of Destruction. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Now, the only reason why we have this stuff right now is when we were going through the database the other day looking at the translation names, some other names got translated as well that formerly weren't, which means that these are our imports for the set. So we have Dandy White Lion over here to start, and to be honest with you, this card is still pretty interesting to me. If this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, we can special summon 3 white fluff tokens. Those little guys are going to be Plant, Wind, level 1, attack, and defense 0 in defense mode. And you cannot special summon from the extra deck at the turn you activate this effect. And you can only use this effect of Dandy White Lion once per turn. So, Konami's entire logic with this was, we need a card to basically allow Jaden Yuki to summon an Egyptian god. Yeah, that's right. I don't know why that was the thought process for this, but Konami released this at the same time as, what was it, the quarter century Slifer the Sky Dragon. So they were like, alright, so what's the easiest way to be able to summon a god? Well, 3 tokens. But I mean, you gotta send it from the hand or field to the graveyard. I can't foolish burial this from the deck. That's my initial problem with this. I don't know what their logic was with this, and you could extra deck lock the entire turn with this, alright? The entire turn. You are not getting access to anything out of there. I'm not a super big fan when they create these effects that attempt to try to limit these sorts of things. I understand that, you can't always create the most abusable cards in the world, and this was also a Shonen Jump promo in Japan, so you're automatically going to be limited in the ability for the things that you can attempt to do with this. But overall, I am kind of happy to see we're getting this. I do hope that this does possibly maintain a super, but it's probably going to be a common, unfortunately. Next up is the Pendulum Witch. So evidently, they skipped a bunch of V-Jump cards to be able to get us Pendulum Witch for some reason. So the pendulum effect on this long wall of text here. If a face-up fusion, synchro, and or exceeds monster or monsters you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect while this card is in the pendulum zone, we can add a pendulum monster with the same original type as one of those monsters from your deck to your face-up extra deck. You can only use this effect of Pendulum Witch once per turn. So basically, hey, your fusion, synchro, or exceeds go bye-bye. You get to go, oh, hey, that was a beast monster, for example. Well, we can take a pendulum monster that's a beast from our deck, and we can put it in the extra deck face up for our pendulum scale. And I mean, this is an 8 scale, so that's actually not terrible for what you want to be having here. Now, your actual monster effect on this, on normal or pendulum summon, not on special summon. It's on normal or pendulum summon. We can target one card in your pendulum zone, destroy both that target and this card. And if we do, we can add a level 4 or lower pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. So you're going to have to inherently, man, if you normal this, pop your scale and this to be able to pull something out that's level 4 or lower. Sure, you can only use this effect of Pendulum Witch once per turn, and if this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place it into your pendulum zone. At least you have the floating secondary effect for this, to be able to place this into the pendulum scale after it detonates itself. But overall, I remember when we first saw this card in the OCG, I was pretty harsh on it. I'm still maintaining that very harsh stance on it, because, yeah, it does have Pendulum in the name. You can search it through the cards that can search Pendulum, but it doesn't have Performapal in the name, which really, once again, could have been a little bit more interesting. Then we have Code of Soul. This is a huge one to be getting imported in here, because this means that Konami took the quarter century box and they broke it in half for battles. So if we control a Link monster, any Link monster, what can be a 1, 2, a 3, 4, or a 5, doesn't give a crap. We can special summon this card from our hand. It also doesn't have to special summon to a zone a Link monster points to. During your main phase, you can activate this effect once per turn. If you would Link summon a Salamangreat Link monster, you can use one Salamangreat Link monster you control with the same card name as the entire material. Oh, so this is just the field spell actually cracked out of its mind. Sure. During your opponent's main phase, quick effect, we can banish this from our graveyard. Immediately after the effect resolves, we can link summon one Link 3 or lower Cyverse Link monster. You can only use this effect of Code of Soul once per turn. So, a free special summon in my Salaman Great deck. The ability to go, okay, so we can use any of, roll Balinix into Balinix, we can roll Heat Soul into Heat Soul, Pyro Phoenix into Pyro Phoenix, whatever you need to do here, you can do so because of this card. And then you can basically get the ability to link summon during your opponent's main phase as well for anything that's Link 3 or higher. That's actually pretty decent. It's also kind of hilarious to me that they limited this card to Link 3 or higher during the opponent's turn. They're like, yeah, no, you're not going to pull out any Link 2 shenanigans or anything like that. So I guess they were very restrictive in terms of their design that they were trying to push with this, but I think the card is a very good extender. But the fact that they broke up the quarter century box to push this, I don't know how I really feel about that. And then we have the Supreme King Dragon Zark Synchro Universe. Now, I think this is one of my favorite design cards in the game because the way this thing looks. So it is a 4,000, but it is a Pendulum Scale 1. So remember, this is for your Pendulum effect, we contribute a Supreme King Zark or a Supreme King Gate Pendulum monster. Special summon this card. You can only use this effect of Supreme King Zark Synchro Universe once per turn. So it gets to beam itself back out of the Pendulum verse. Sure. Monster effect. Alright, so it's one tuner plus one or more non-tuner dark pendulum monsters to make this. Alright. This card's name becomes Zark while on the field. After damage calculation, if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, or if this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can special summon up to 2 Supreme King Dragon monsters from your deck, extra deck, and or graveyard in defense mode. If this card in the monster zone is destroyed by battle or card effect, you get to place this on in to the Pendulum Zone. So, if I had a much easier way to make this card, I would be cheesing out some of the most interesting things with this. But the fact that they did restrict your summoning capabilities of this to be a tuner plus one or more dark tuner, dark pendulum monsters was a good choice on Konami's behalf. Creating 2 generic cards that literally say, oof, you destroyed something, let's go ahead and plop on out 2 more monsters here, is a little bit of a very dangerous thing to be trying to do here. But I do think while this card doesn't have the greatest ability to kind of be broken, I think that they designed the card just right so that it doesn't necessarily tend to break the game. But for those being your imports from name changes, definitely interesting, or at least what we're assuming those to be. Now, over here for the rest of Legacy, and the fact, I do want to mention here, the fact that they broke down the quarter century box, and they went, hey, we're going to port over Code of Soul into this set to give it to us a couple months early. Because remember, we're not getting battles until, June out here? Which means that players are going to be, maybe kind of struggling a little bit. But when Konami does this sort of stuff, you're definitely interested to see for, future products where they're going to put what where. And as the list of imports does dwindle down here, you got to remember, I believe as of right now, we're missing maybe like 50. Alright, so the list is shrinking down until Konami Japan goes, hey, here's the next list of things that we're going to go ahead and we're going to make, and then you guys can go, alright, well, suddenly now you have an entirely new list of toys to play with for future sets. But as that number does dwindle down, I guess what's available is going to continue to be vastly rough for a little while. But that's what we're expecting so far. To those of you that are like, yes, we get this slightly earlier, the only real disappointment here is you're not going to get in potentially higher rarities. I guess that's my main point here, because you can see both of these be common, and you'd be like, ugh, why? We could have had this hollow, and you just leave a lot to be desired. But we'll have to wait and see. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. What do you guys think about these imports? And I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.